What happened to respecting Japan culture?
Bro, you.
You're basically DBR.
This is Okinawa. This ain't Japan.
Oh, okay. So you don't respect it?
At this time of my life, I visited Japan twice now. The first trip I tagged along with my friend and his siblings for 8 days, while the second trip I was part of a language school program and stayed for a month. The first night of my first trip, me and my friend went exploring and went into a maid bar. Japanese women bartenders dressed in maid outfits, one of the best things I've ever seen, felt straight out of an anime.
Oh my goodness, this place is off the hook.
The manager came to our table, was really nice and attentive, us standing out as foreigners, chatting it up with her, with Japanese men in suits looking like they just got off work, getting drunk, singing karaoke. It was a very fun night and introduction to Japan. I remember me and my friend getting lost in the subway, and every Japanese person was eager to help us find our way. I remember a crippled woman who I didn't notice was crippled at first, walking on forearm crutches, made it her duty to guide us to the right platform, and she was absolutely pleased to do so with a smile. I thought, wow, Japan is awesome. No complaints on my first trip. Second trip, even better. I attended a language school that consisted of people from around the world: Italy, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Sweden, the UK, Paris, etc. Some of the coolest people I've ever met. Every night I was out to at least 2 or 3 in the morning at different bars hanging out with other Japanese locals, where bartenders, as soon as I walked in, knew my drink of choice: Jameson on the rocks. Plenty of details I could go into. Maybe I'll dedicate a live stream to it one day, but a few things in common I noticed from both trips. 1. Japan is extremely safe, like unbelievably safe. I mean that sincerely. Being able to walk around 3 in the morning without a care in the world is a foreign concept to me. I don't have to worry of someone trying to run up on me and rob me or catch a stray bullet from somewhere. I can leave my belongings like a laptop out in the open, let's say a restaurant, use the bathroom, and it's still there. The hotel I stayed at had umbrellas they allowed you to use whenever it rained, with a sense of trust like, oh, of course you'll bring it back. There was this air of trust I just wasn't used to. 2. It's an extremely efficient, functioning, and considerate culture. Something as little as the way you line up to board a train in 2 lines. There's civility and there's this overall understanding that something like that can help everyone's day move a bit more smoothly. It's like returning a shopping cart in its proper place after using it. It's something you don't have to do, but it's very considerate to society as a whole if you choose to. The 7-Elevens are clean, way ahead of us as far as technology. You don't have to worry about people robbing and looting the damn place. The way people cross the streets, people obey the signs. I rarely, if at all, seen anybody jaywalk. I could keep going and dedicate a whole video to how exceptional Japan is. I remember talking with a girl who said, with major cities comes inherent high crime. And I told her, no, Tokyo dispels that myth totally. Being the most populated city in the world, it has virtually no crime. So when I heard the famous voice actress named Megumi Hayashibara, sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, of Rei from Evangelion, explain in a blog post, basically saying Japan must preserve its culture, I thought, yes, I couldn't agree more. Neon Genesis Evangelion voice actor makes controversial comments on foreigners in Japan. Evangelion's biggest stars in hot water over a controversial attack on foreigners, calling tourists an invasive species. Now, before I get into how activist-minded these 2 articles are, I'll first dive into some of what she said, essentially pointing out how tourists are exploiting their culture, like IRL streamers acting fools for clicks, and how foreigners in many ways are being prioritized over actual citizens. If things continue like this, Japan's Japaneseness will disappear. Its manners, attitude, technology, food, and maybe even anime. Of course, these are all the things I cherish about Japan and I alluded to earlier, especially with anime facing this constant push from Western entities and activists to make their creativity politically correct and appeal to the global audience, a move that would be immediately detrimental to anime. Of course, there are many people living in Japan who really love Japan. I have friends, some have become naturalized. Among them, there are some people who run private lodgings without manners, foreign tourists who don't know how to give in, and people who cut down bamboo in Kyoto.
I didn't feel like it.
Show me the pee. I don't believe you. Nah, that's some hood shit, bro. What's wrong with you? Bro, what? I can't take you nowhere. This is not our house.
Just pour water.
We have to respect the house.
So let's just pour water.
What happened to respecting Japan culture?
Bro, fuck you and fuck
You're
you.
basically DBR.
This is Okinawa. This ain't Japan.
Oh, okay. So you don't respect it?
No.
And that's just one example of people disrespecting their land, from people treating their shrines like an exercise gym, treating Japanese citizens like zoo animals, and treating trains like theme parks or some type of fun zone. No decorum, no etiquette, no consideration for the people around you. This is what she is referring to, completely reasonable and full of common sense. If we don't have regulations, if we don't make them, it would be dangerous. It would be like Japanese crayfish being eaten by invasive species in an instant. I'll get to that metaphor soon because, like activists do, they have selective hearing, taking things out of context and bad faith, attributing things to you only to forward their own agenda. But everything she said is valid and true. If you want to preserve the culture that Japan has, you must be stringent, not allowing yourself to be exploited and taken advantage of by people outside who only see you as a means to an end, not a society to assimilate to or be grateful to visit or live in, but to milk everything out of. Being an actress of massive fame and popularity with fans across the globe, Haya Shibata should be more conducive to the idea of a globalized society. Instead, while discussing societal issues and political engagement in Japan, she voiced frustration at certain foreign tourists and international students regarding the matter of domestic students having to repay student loans while foreigners can get free financial aid. She lashed out, and this is her quote: "Unconditional free aid for some foreign exchange students, but for Japanese students, it's scholarships which you have to pay back. So to put it plainly, it's debt." Now, what is wrong with this statement? That's a reasonable, fair take. It's a backward-ass approach that a society must prioritize foreigners over their actual citizens, people who had paid into the system their whole lives but not accruing the same benefits, but instead of anything, debt. Plus, it's completely disrespectful to expect her to be accommodating to the globalized society by sacrificing Japan's cultural norms and customs. This idea that Japan must bend over backwards to the rest of the world because activist-minded people said so is ridiculous. When you're in somebody's home, you adapt to them. I know in the West, we've adopted this arrogant, spoiled brat mentality of give me what I want and give it to me now.
The meatloaf! We want it now!
But just because we're destroying ourselves doesn't mean Japan has to join us in doing so. Shouldn't Japan's taxes first and foremost be for the people who pay them, which of course including tax-paying foreign residents in Japan? Is it considered exclusionism to think that taxes should be used for Japan's disaster-stricken areas and for the students who are supporting Japan right now? If Japan becomes exhausted internally, we won't be able to offer omotenashi, I hope I'm saying that right, hospitality anymore. Again, everything she said is legit. I have no problem with this, and it says more about you if you find this common sense problematic. Now to the analogy she said earlier. It would be like the native Japanese crayfish were devoured in an instant by an invasive species. For example, it would become a world where unspoken rules like lining up to buy things are lost. She described misbehaving tourists in Japan and invoked the metaphor of invasive species. Many readers interpreted this as dehumanizing and equating foreigners with ecological threats. It's very telling when people get offended by such metaphors, saying things like, "What are you calling me, a house? But I'm a human, not a car. How dare you compare me to an animal or a child?" People having brain-dead reactions, almost having an inability to comprehend the metaphor at hand, and it's sadly becoming more widespread. The point being made is that if Japan doesn't put itself into action to preserve its culture, eventually foreigners will overrun and erode the cultural identity Japan has, stripping away the very reason people want to visit there in the first place. The reason I love Japan is because it's filled with Japanese people, all having a shared culture that I truly admire. When I visit, I go out of my way to show respect in all regards, to help counter the overwhelming sense of entitlement that comes with tourists in the West. People like this journalist who say it's xenophobic and evil to have pride in your nation are attempting to socially condition you that it's wrong to want to preserve the customs of your own country. These journalists who are in disguised activists would love nothing other than to change your culture from within, guilt-tripping you to accept their ideals and belief system and convince you it's somehow righteous and benevolent to drop yours. These people are like snakes and truly wicked in how they operate. Now, this voice actress, feeling some of that guilt, made some edits to her blog posts, but mainly kept the same sentiments in her points. Just cleaning it up a bit, which it already was, but careful not to offend those with baby ears.
I won't say it for little baby ears over there.
Now, I don't know if this video will ever reach this beautiful voice actress, but one thing you don't do is apologize to the mob. I know Japan is a very conflict avoidant society, but they fake good nature will be taken advantage of, because apologies are like blood in the water to these types. The moment you concede even just a little bit, you will be devoured just like the crayfish in your metaphor. Stand firm in what you believe, and you'll be surprised by the amount of people who will rally behind you and show their dying support. I promise you. But that's all I had for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And shout out to this voice actress again, Megumi Hayashi Ibata. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I didn't know she did the female Rama voice in Faye Valentine and Cowboy Bebop. Good shit. And as well as Lena from Slayers, who people in my chat are big fans of. Quick fun trivia fact, Lena was based off Audrey Hepburn. I just thought that was cool to know, and oh how we used to inspire. Also, if you haven't already, check out my music on Spotify, links in the description. If you love those Samurai Champloo lo-fi mellow boom bap vibes, then my music is definitely for you. And if you want to support me and the content I create, consider joining my channel through memberships. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And remember, Megami, it's a reason why I say free think. So, free think, peace.